Tim wasn't much different from any other kid you know. He loved hanging out with his friends, playing video games, and was always up for a challenge. But behind all of that, Tim was dealing with things that weren't always easy to talk about. Like many teenagers, he struggled to figure out his emotions. Some days, he felt like he was on top of the world, and others, he just couldn't get a handle on what was going on inside. Tim had always been thoughtful, even as a little kid. But lately, something was different. There were all these feelings inside him, and no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't always make sense of them. Tim often felt fear when thinking about the future. What if he wasn't good enough? What if his friends didn't like him anymore? His heart would race, and his palms would sweat when he thought about these things. His dad told him it was okay to feel fear sometimes. It could help him prepare for new challenges. Fear wasn't his enemy. It was there to guide him. Sometimes, Tim felt a fire burning inside. His anger would erupt when things didn't go his way, like when he lost a game or had an argument with his friends. He didn't want to hurt anyone, but he didn't know how to express his anger calmly. One day, a teacher explained that anger was like a storm. If he learned to recognize it early, he could let it pass without causing harm. There were moments when Tim felt guilty, like the time he lied to his parents about his grades. He knew it wasn't right, and guilt weighed heavily on him. He realized that guilt could be a sign that he wanted to make things right. So, he apologized and worked harder on his studies. Sometimes Tim just felt sad. He didn't always know why, but his sadness made him want to be alone. At first, he thought sadness was something he had to hide. But his mom reminded him that everyone feels sad sometimes. It was okay to talk about it and ask for support when needed. Lastly, Tim experienced shame when he felt like he wasn't enough. He was ashamed of not being as popular or athletic as some of the other boys at school. However, over time, he learned that shame is just a voice in his head. It wasn't the truth. He began to accept that he didn't have to be perfect to be valued. Ultimately, Tim realized that all these feelings were a part of growing up. By learning to understand and talk about them, he became more confident in facing life's challenges. As Tim navigated through his emotions, he discovered an important truth. Everyone feels these things at some point. Fear, anger, guilt, sadness, and shame are natural parts of life. But what mattered most was how he chose to deal with them. He learned that it's okay to feel afraid. It meant he was facing something new. His anger, while powerful, could be controlled by recognizing it before it exploded. Guilt helped him reflect on his actions, and sadness reminded him to seek support from those who cared about him. Shame was the trickiest feeling, but over time, Tim realized it didn't define who he was. He didn't have to be perfect to be loved or respected. Remember, you are not alone in feeling these emotions. It's okay to ask for help when things feel overwhelming. Embrace your feelings, talk about them, and don't be afraid to share your journey. Your strength lies in your ability to face what's inside and grow from it.